Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Today I will be sharing my price forecast for the month of October in the world of precious metals. Many things have been taking place over the past couple months, whether it's the oil fields getting attacked, whether it's stock market volatility, whether it's, the US interest rates getting cut or the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates. So many different things. That's just to name a few. And looking forwards, we have a lot of other stuff to be considering, whether, silver's going to be appreciating or depreciating. So let's talk about this. Now, what started the prices to really boom, to really move when silver was stuck in that bearish market? Well, it was the interest rates. It was, the stock market volatility. And these things single-handedly pushed precious metals higher. But we see something like platinum and palladium really, especially, those two really uh, capitalizing on their appreciating prices recently from the silver or from the shortages coming. Now, silver's price isn't as speculative to some degree because a lot of people still look at silver in the spotlight. So where platinum and palladium come out of the background, they're almost like the underdog. A lot of people can capitalize off that since prices were so bare. Now, right now, the interest rates were a little bit of a tricky situation and caught a lot of people off guard. They didn't move prices to the extent that people were hoping. And same thing with the oil fields being attacked. Over the weekend, we thought we were going to see drastic changes. But speculatively looking at it, it really didn't do too much damage to the better or for the worse. So in October, looking forwards, it's going to be an interesting month. I'm curious whether you guys think this is going to be a better month for precious metals or for a lower, more bearish pullback. Now, not talking about a correction, because a correction is when it's already rallied. Like, let's say when silver was $19.48 a couple months ago, and it was in the spotlight from some of the things I mentioned previously boosting prices. Then it pulled back down to $17.50. That's a correction. That's a nearly $2 change drastically within a couple of days, within a week. Now, we're looking at the next coming month. I think that there would be more of a slow rise, a gradual rise, especially since some of the main factors, the main things coming at precious metals attacking the prices aren't influencing it to the degree. I also think there's a little bit of vulnerability that comes with precious metals. There's a lot of things at bay, whether it's the JP Morgan stuff circulating fake bars, whether it's them getting caught red-handed manipulating the prices. I made a video on that if you want to check it out. But these things still aren't really affecting precious metals. And I think it's because the foundation, the intrinsic value that these metals offer to the table. Now, if it was comparing this to stock markets or even cryptocurrency, prices would have drastically changed. We see that. We've seen that literally. A couple of years ago, JP Morgan called Bitcoin a scam, got caught manipulating prices, and it shot Bitcoin's price down $5,000 within 2 weeks. The same thing happens with precious metals, and prices barely budge. This is because they're not as speculative as cryptocurrency. Also, why it's a safer investment. Precious metals are definitely a safer investment. But gold has actually been more of the underdog, the outlier in all this news. Usually, when we're talking about precious metals, most articles are covering gold. It's all about gold. But recently, I've been seeing the word silver come up a lot more. Now, that's interesting to take part of because silver is usually not seen as a real investment. It's more of a commodity, and gold is usually more of the asset, which I think is backwards. I think silver is more of an asset, and gold is much more of a commodity. Gold is used more for jewelry, more for necklaces, more for stuff like that, for fancy stuff, but silver is used more as an industrial metal, used in technology and gadgets. I know gold is as well, but at the rate, if you're comparing the ratio, silver is much more widely used and performs better for cheaper, especially for cheaper than gold. You got to think of these industries that build these gadgets. You have to use a lot of silver and gold in all these laptops and cell phones. And if you think about how cheap silver is, these industries are probably extremely satisfied with silver's performance for as cheap as it is, because nothing performs the way that silver does for as cheap as it is, and nothing ever will. That's why people need silver. And when it comes to gold, gold's a lot more pricey, especially since gold doesn't work much better than silver does. I mean, silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity. And that's why back in the day, Egyptians saw silver and gold as equal. 1 ounce of silver was just as, valuable as one ounce of gold, or vice versa. Even in biblical times, they saw silver as magical because the way it responded with other metals and other, elements. So I definitely think that silver has a lot of underappreciating value that people haven't incorporated in its prices. See, that's the thing that I think really is still that the gray area when it comes to these people trying to do price predictions or price forecasts, because silver is still the outlier and silver is still extremely undervalued. And until these markets hop on board and start understanding the fundamental value, the fundamental uses that silver has to bring to the table, they're going to be looking at it from an outcast viewpoint, not understanding how much industrial use, how much surplus matters, how much surplus affects these markets, how severe and how important of an article or a situation happening, like the top three silver producers, Mexico, Peru, and Chile, abandoning silver mines, finding it only from bypass. That's not okay. And if you're looking at silver demand rising more and more by the day, this is definitely going to be something that will catch up to you, and it's going to catch up to these markets, and you're going to see prices start being influenced more highly than previously, like $50 silver in 2011. What was happening during that month? Well, stock market volatility and the same type of thing. It was the same type of situation. Now we're looking at the next coming month. Stock market volatility has been up and down at really drastic rates. Federal Reserve cutting interest rates, all the controversy between that, also the political side of it, which brings a huge movement, a huge influential push in prices. I definitely think silver could reach $21, $22 by the end of October. And that's not even me being on the bullish side, or more, I don't want to be a silver pumper. I don't want to mislead my audience, but it's not out of the realm of impossibility. Now, there also is a chance that silver is more of a gradual approaching market right now, which is healthy for it. You don't want silver to just skyrocket up to $30 by, October or November. That would not be good. That's a huge sign for a crash coming. So I hope that it slowly just starts picking up the pace. And as people hop on board, they start understanding the fundamental values of it. And then it starts to flourish and blossom and prosper in areas that it hasn't before, because a lot of silver speculation is still at bay. A lot of industries, a lot of corporations are still trying to control these markets and keep them in a bubble, which is not okay. And silver has so much potential. It's a ticking time bomb. Silver's time is definitely coming sooner than later, but these people that are trying to influence prices for their own advantage, for their own greed, for their own satisfaction, for their own, wealth, is not okay. And the more this gets, publicly exposed, I think the less it will be happening. Now, obviously, there will always be factors at bay behind the scenes trying to do shady things, but I definitely think that the higher advanced we become in technology, I think more things will be coming exposed and the truth will be coming exposed, especially since we're going into the digital age and it's harder to mask these things. Now, to what degree are these prices going to be influenced, and how, and what's the time frame between them, and are they going to be benefiting prices or hurting prices? This is all still speculative. It's all still really a theory, but I do know that silver is the most undervalued, best performing metal out there, and it definitely has the most potential with the greatest opportunity as an investment, single-handedly, even more than gold. Gold to silver ratio is still extremely high, with it only coming out the ground roughly 8-1. It only takes 8 ounces of silver to every 1 ounce of gold. And if you think about the ratio at 85-1, you can see right there how undervalued silver really is. So where do you guys think that gold and silver are headed? Do you think these interest rates are going to be affecting prices? Do you think the political side of it is how Donald Trump with one single tweet can affect markets on that scale, on that dramatically, by that, with that much pull behind him? Do you think that's good, or do you think that's bad? I mean, obviously it's bad for most cases, but it could be good for some instances. But in the long term, I definitely think that's not okay. I think silver and gold need to have more fundamental, more foundation built upon it. So just because someone tweets something out, it doesn't crash prices, even for stocks and cryptocurrency as well, not just for precious metals. Now, obviously, those are pegged more towards the dollar, so they're going to be a little more sensitive to certain things, comparing it to silver and gold. But I definitely still think that for an economy and for society, from a market standpoint and from a human standpoint, I don't think that's it's a very safe thing. I think that definitely makes me a little uneasy, but I definitely still that makes me want to invest in gold and silver more, because that just means even more that I want to invest into something, transfer my wealth into something that is more of a safe haven, long preservative, a long time preservation of wealth. But anyways, I'm going to wrap that video up here. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm curious what you guys think about this. What do you guys think silver and gold is going to be doing in October? I definitely think it has a lot of potential. Anyways, though, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. Also, make sure to subscribe. I post daily videos. I posted another video earlier today talking about, the silver price drop and what happened. I dove a little deeper into the interest rates getting cut and how that kind of took people off guard. So if you want to check that out, the link will be in the top left corner right there. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.